Sports Saturday.
It's complete. Another touchdown!
Cougar Sports Saturday. A presentation of KSL Sports.
Left wing for three. He got it again!
BYU Sports Talk by Cougar fans for Cougar fans. Here are your hosts, Mitch Harper and Matt Baiamonte. On Utah's legacy home of the Cougars. KSL News Radio, 102.7 FM and 1160 AM.
Welcome back into Cougar Sports Saturday here on KSL News Radio, your legacy home of the BYU Cougars. Less than 100 days till football kicks off this season, and we rolled out this past month the 100 greatest players in BYU football history, and checking in at number 6 on the list is a BYU great, former quarterback Max Hall. He joins us now. Max, how are you doing today?
Hey, I'm doing great, man. It's great to be on with you guys. Thanks for having me.
How'd you feel about being number 6? Was it too low? Too high? Well placed? What was your feelings on the list that I put out?
You know, the cocky guy in me says I'm pissed I'm not in the top 5, but the real guy in me says it's just an honor to be on that list, and to be at number 6 is pretty cool, because if you look at that thing, there is a lot of really great players on that list, and including a handful of my teammates that I got to play with Dennis and Austin and Harvey. And so I feel blessed to have played with some guys like that. But it means a lot, you know, to be considered up there in the top 10 at number 6. And, you know, I will always cherish my time and everything that we accomplished at BYU during my years. But it's pretty cool to be up there with those names.
You brought up some of your teammates, and one of the criticisms that I got with the list was a lot of people accused me of recency bias. I go saying a lot of players in the 21st century and not enough credit given to maybe the 80s, and I feel like they were well represented. But Harvey Unga, Dennis Pitta, Austin Collie, I mean, Curtis Brown was a teammate of yours in 2006 when you were, waiting in the wings, but they were great players. I mean, as time has gone by, I think that those teams that you led continue to stand the test of time as some of the greatest in BYU history.
Yeah, I think as time has gone on, I think people realize how special of a group of guys we had throughout those years, you know, with Curtis and John and Johnny and all those guys, and then, you know, Harvey, Dennis, Austin, all the guys that I played with. Those are some good football teams, man, and I think those guys deserve those credits. So, you know, I'll let you battle with everybody who maybe disagrees with you, but on my end, I agree that those guys should be where they're at.
It's hard to believe your career started with the quarterback battle. What do you remember about that? And the reason I bring it up is BYU football's got another quarterback battle going on right now, but what do you remember about your battle before you became the starting quarterback?
Yeah, no, you know, when I got to BYU, John Beck was a senior, Jason Beck was there, and you know, I was running the scout team. I actually wasn't even eligible to play that year because of the transfer, so I was totally content running the scout team. And I had known John. We grew up in the same kind of neighborhood, went to the same high school, and so I just tried to soak up everything that I could from him, and learn as much as I can, because I was, you know, expecting to be the guy going into next year. The next thing I know, we got Cade Cooper and Brendan Gaskins and Sam Doman and Jacob Bowers. And I'm like, went into Coach Doman, and I'm like, Coach, what's the deal, man? I thought I was the guy. You know, why are you bringing in all these other guys to compete with me? And he goes, that's the name of the game, Max, but, you know, I believe in you, and just go prove it to everybody. So that spring was interesting, but I think the competition made me better. I think it made the team better. You know, unfortunately enough, I was able to win the job and play the next 3 years.
What advice would you give to Jake and the others in the quarterback battle right now if they were to ask you, hey, what do I got to do to win the starting job?
Yeah, you know, I got to spend a little bit of time with that group. You know, that alumni weekend when I was up there for the alumni game, I got to sit in a quarterback meeting and be out at practice. And first thing I'll say is I think it's a great group, great guys, talented group. Enjoyed my time with them. I probably spent more time with Jake than anybody. After the alumni game, I actually think we sat there and chatted for almost an hour after the game about stuff. Really liked the kid. And he would ask me some stuff like that. But this is what I tell quarterbacks when you're in that situation, and this is advice that Kurt Warner gave to me when I first got to the Arizona Cardinals and I was number 4 on the depth chart. The best advice he gave me was, Max, the number one thing you have to worry about is yourself and getting better every single day. If you pay too much attention to like what the other quarterbacks are doing, like, oh shoot, he just threw a touchdown pass, great, that makes me look bad, or you know what I'm saying, get too caught up in that, then that's not how you should handle it. But you need to prepare and be ready for your opportunity to get reps. And then when you get reps, make sure that they're perfect. So even if it's a handoff, you know, make sure you get them in the right run play, great handoff, carry out your fake, make it a perfect rep. If it's a rep in 7-on-7, make sure you get the right read, get the ball to the right spot, be accurate. And the number one thing is make sure you know the playbook, make sure you know the plays, you know the scheme, you know your reads, you know your checks and everything that's going on. You know, because when I got to the Cardinals, I would maybe get 1 team rep and 2 7-on-7 reps at the beginning, you know, and that one of those 7-on-7 reps might be a hitch, and then I'm handing the ball off in team, and I'm like, well, shoot, I didn't really get much work in today. But those reps started adding up for me, and next thing you know, I got an opportunity to play a whole half in the preseason, and then, you know, 4 games into the season, had an opportunity to start some games for them. So that's kind of the advice I'd give to any quarterback in a battle is focus on getting yourself better every single day. And then I told Jake, okay, now if you do win the job, now that changes. Instead of focusing on yourself and getting better every day, now you're the guy. Now you got to get your team ready. So now you're focusing more on the guys around you and getting your squad ready to go play instead of just yourself, because you can't do it alone, right? So that was some of the conversation I had with Jake, and I thought he was super receptive to it. And, you know, I would give that same advice to all those other guys in the QB room.
Max Hall is our guest here on KSL News Radio, and you know, last season Jake Retzlaff closed the year in the final 4 games as the starter. What did you think of how you know, Jake played? I know it's tough, the outcomes. There's, you know, a 4-game losing streak, but were there things that you liked from Jake's game as the quarterback?
Yeah, I liked him from the beginning. I like his demeanor. I like his attitude. You can tell he's got some fire to him. I think he just kind of brought a different spark, not only to the offense, to the whole team. Did he make a lot of mistakes? Yeah, but I think he grew a lot from those mistakes and learned a lot. But he also did some really good things against some good teams. He had some really good last-minute drives at ends of games to give us a chance. And, you know, I know the coaches speak really highly of him. So I think he has a high ceiling as far as what he can do at BYU. You know, I'm not there every day. I don't see what's going on. But from the little bit that I saw while I was there, I really liked him. He seems like a really coachable kid, bright-eyed kid, smart. All his teammates like him. So that's kind of why I gave him that advice. Like, hey, if it is your job, if you win it, you know, you got to take this to the next level as far as getting your team ready to go. But based on the experience he had last year and the conversations I've had on him, I think if he ends up being the guy into the season, which I don't know this, but in my opinion, I think he's the favorite. And I think we can see some really good things from him going into this season.
Hard to believe we're less than 100 days to that first kickoff. This team, you look, Vegas, they're not the experts all the time, but they don't like BYU football going into this season. Do you think this team can get back to a bowl game, Max?
I do. I think number one, I think this team is a lot further along at this time of year as they were last year. As I've talked to coaches and stuff, I think everybody's really happy with what happened in spring ball. They like the direction of the team. They like the players, the talent, the tight-knit group that they are. A few of the coaches have been down here at my high school doing some high school recruiting, and there was a BYU like fan fest down here, and I got to run into some people and talk more about it. So I definitely think that they can, and I for sure think that that's the expectation. But at the same time, things have to go well. You know, we have to stay healthy. We have to have good quarterback play out of Jake. We got to be able to run the ball better, and I don't think these things are any secret. But, you know, when you're playing in the Big 12, man, it's a battle every week. You know, it's a dogfight every week. And so I think it's going to come down to, does this team have enough heart, have enough grit, and have the want to execute at a high level to win enough games to get to a bowl game? And if I was a bet man, I'd say yes, that they get to that and get to a bowl game this year.
Max, you brought up recruiting, and last year you were working with a BYU signee at quarterback, and Enoch Watson. He was at the alumni game. I saw him, and seeing him in person, he's an impressive-looking prospect. I know he's going to go on a mission for a couple of years, but down the road, like for Cougar fans to kind of get understanding of Enoch in the quarterback pipeline, what is BYU getting in Enoch Watson?
Yeah, I love Enoch, and this what I'm about to say to him. I know I coached him the last year, and I have a good relationship with him, but an honest opinion about him as a quarterback is, first of all, yeah, he has intangibles. He's 6'3", he's like 200, 205 pounds. What really impressed me this year was his ability to run and his ability to make plays. Like, I wasn't expecting that from him, but he became just as much of a guy who could get out of the pocket and just run or make throws on the run. When stuff wasn't there, he can throw from different arm angles. He can make every throw on the field. Now, when I got him, he came from a wing T offense, and so he'd never really run anything out of the spread or anything West Coast before. And I actually went down there last summer, and I met with some of the coaches there at BYU just to kind of get some ideas on what they do scheme-wise and protection-wise. And, I had a young offensive line last year, and I wasn't going to ask Enoch just to sit in the pocket. So I was actually running some of BYU stuff last year here at the high school with Enoch, and he did really well with it. And I was really surprised with how fast he picked stuff up, how smart he was. Because I asked Enoch's got to know everything between coverages and the box and the RPO game and making run checks. And, I put it all on the quarterback. It's not look to the sideline and, okay, Coach Hall, tell me what to do. No, you're the last line of defense. So he had to learn better footwork from the gun and everything. And the kid just put countless hours and time in, and that paid off this year. He, in my opinion, was the best quarterback in the state of Arizona all around as a runner and a passer and a playmaker. And then he is the reason why we had a really successful season last year, made it to the open playoffs. And without Enoch, we wouldn't have come close to that. He was able to put the team on his shoulders and just go win games. And so at the end of the day, the kid's a winner. But then off the field, he's a great kid. He's always got a smile on his face. Everybody here at the school loved him. He's just one of those kids who's contagious and kind of a natural leader. So, I was blessed to coach him last year, and I think BYU is getting what, in my opinion, what could be one of the next great BYU quarterbacks. So I'll be excited. I'm excited that he's going on a mission and he's going to go serve for the next 2 years. And I think the Lord's going to bless him for those efforts. And then I cannot wait till he gets back in shape and has an opportunity to play there at BYU.
Last thing for you, Max. We appreciate the time. How's the family, and maybe update Cougar Nation on what's going on in your life right now?
Yeah, absolutely. No, the family's doing great, man. Holy cow, my kids are now both going to be in junior high next year. I got an 8th grade son who's a quarterback, and I'm looking forward to coaching him coming up here in the next few years. Wow. He's a good kid, actually a decent little quarterback. I tried to tell him, I'm like, his name's Rex. I said, Rex, are you sure you want to play quarterback, bud? Like, how about receiver, running back, something else? He goes, no, Dad, I'm a quarterback. And I go, oh, boy, I'm going to be stressed out for the next however many years, having a son as a quarterback. Talking to my dad about that, it's not exactly an easy job. But so we have that going on. And, my wife she has 2 Pilates studios that she's running, and we're planning on opening more. And then me, I'm just coaching ball and trying to do everything I can to help people and help these kids. And so it's life's good. It's busy, but we're happy and healthy, and things are going well for me in my life. So I appreciate you asking.
Well, Max, we had a pleasure chatting with you as always. It's always an honor to catch up with you, and if there's anything we can ever do for you, please let us know. He's BYU great Max Hall here with us on KSL News Radio. We always appreciate the time, Max.
Absolutely, guys. Anytime. Thanks for having me.
That's Max Hall, BYU great. Always appreciate Max. Great stuff. Had so much to unpack there from Max Hall. Again,
number 6 on the greatest BYU football players of all time, 100 players. We rolled out that list on KSLSports.com. We'll break it down a little bit later this show. More BYU football talk and also some Cruise talk. We'll hit on that a little bit later here on Cougar Sports Saturday.